So today we're talking about how you can make your videos way more cinematic, whether you have a camera or just a smartphone. These 8 tips will make your videos look way more cinematic instantly. Over the course of 200 plus videos and 125,000 subscribers on YouTube, I have one thing that has been common throughout this journey is that I never had anyone to hold the camera. The camera has always been on a tripod like it is right now. So with nobody to shoot, living in a small room and little to no equipment, I could still make videos like this.
You look lonely. I can fix that.
Now you might think there's a lot of color grading, editing and sound design and all of these things make your footage cinematic, and while that is true in a very small way, the majority of it is about how you compose your shots. So first let's talk about composition. Composition is basically the decision of what you show inside the frame, what are the elements, how is the subject located, and what are the colors, what is everything inside the frame comes under composition. I'll talk about a very few simple compositional tricks, compositional principles I should say, that can make your videos instantly way more cinematic. The first one is the rule of thirds. Visualize a grid on your screen, or literally turn on the 3x3 grid on your screen and try to place your subject in one of these lines. This one or this one, like this looks good. At number 2, there is symmetry. When you place the subject at the center, and this symmetry can be visual, can be contextual. I'm not gonna go much deeper into this, but here are some examples of how symmetry can make a shot really look good. Now at number 3, we have frames inside of frames. A very quick fix way to make a shot look way more interesting. You can use a doorway, a mirror, a Red Bull cans, or even the gap between a table and a monitor. But it's not just about how you frame the shot and what you put in a shot. It's also about where you're shooting from. Like, what if I take the shot really low? Now, why do you think this works? This is solely because we are adapted to looking at the world from the human eye level. So whenever we take the camera that is not a human eye level, it looks interesting. It looks not very familiar, and that is one of the goals as a beginner filmmaker, to make things look interesting, to catch people's attention. The next component is probably the most important thing in making a shot look more beautiful, making a shot look more cinematic, and that is painting with light.
Been depressed for 170 years. Before I was born in this tournament, thrown in a hospital bed. Born on this firmament, turning into what I gotta to be who I said. Used to make Xannies with Molly the phone. Now, lighting does not necessarily need an artificial light. If you do not have a light, you arguably have the biggest light source in the solar system, that is the sun. You can literally sit in front of a big window and use the sun as your main light source. But there's one problem with the sun, is that you cannot control it. So how do you use the sunlight in the best way possible? So there is this very amazing hack that will make all of your videos a lot more cinematic, and that is shooting shadow side. Now, the most intuitive thing is that if the light is coming from this side, you should shoot from this side as well. That will make our face look a lot more brighter. But if you remember, I also said that constraints brew creativity. When you have limitations, you push your boundaries even further. Like, I only have one of these lights, for example. So what did I use for the background? It is just a normal night lamp that is in my room, and that is creating the separation, the color separation between the foreground and the background. Now, this light alone will not do a very good job. Now see, if I place it right in front of me, if I place the light right in front of me, my whole face is lit up and it looks very flat. It looks very
TikToky and very fair and lovely ad की तरह लग रहा है ये basically. So that is not what you want if you want to make your shot look cinematic. So what we do, we take the light a little bit like around 45 degrees so that there is a triangle of light on your other cheek. This is called the Rembrandt lighting. Now Rembrandt lighting, the name came from the artist Rembrandt, who used to use this lighting technique in his paintings. So yeah, that's how it came from. You will see this a lot in documentaries, in talking heads. So yeah, that's one thing that you can make. So why is this working? Now see, this light is coming here and this part is getting a lot darker. This shadow is actually making your shot look way more cinematic. Now, I need a little bit of more light on this side, because if I turn this off, this part gets way too much dark, right? So what can I do? I have this wide door over here, right? So this light can bounce off this door and fall on the other side of my face. If you see, as you can see, if I bring the door pretty close, my both sides of the face become very well illuminated, and that again looks like fair and lovely commercial. If I put it away a little bit, then it allows the perfect amount of shadow and a little bit of light on this side as well, and that makes me look way better. You need these shadow regions on your face and probably a lot more contrast in your face to look cinematic, because otherwise if I just face this way, my face will look flat, and let's be honest, nobody likes them flat, brother. So if you're like sitting down in front of a camera and just talking, you can use one diffused light from this side and a secondary light source from the other side, so that this whole part does not become black. Now the light that I have, people generally use a diffuser, some kind of diffuser or a softbox to make it diffused. I do not have that currently, so again, you have to come up with new ideas. What did I do? I did not put the lights directly to my face. I put it so it bounces off the wall and comes to my face, and that will make the light a little more diffused and not as harsh. Now why am I doing this? Because the type of light that I use can make a lot of difference. I can be using hard light, I can be using soft light, warm light, cool light, backlight, overhead light, and bottom up light, or even a moving light. By the way, everything that I have learned over the last 4 years of creating videos and trying to make them as cinematic as possible, I am barely touching the tip of the iceberg in this video. And I'm actually gonna teach all of that, everything that I've learned over the last 4 years about how you can make good videos, how you can get started on YouTube, how you can make your videos more cinematic, how you can tell better stories, how you can do better at editing, better at color grading, sound design. Everything I will be teaching in a 7-day workshop that is gonna happen on 7th of December. So if you have a content creator inside of you and you want to make videos, want to get started on YouTube, want to get started on Instagram, if that is something you want to do and you do not know where to start, how to start, you don't have a camera and all of this rubbish that is going on inside your head, I can help you clear all of that if you go to the first link in the description and register for the workshop. Now you might still be thinking, yaar Sanku, I get all of that, the shot looks good, but yaar kitne static shots yaar? I need some motion in my videos. What our constant is that we do not have anyone to shoot. The camera is mounted on a tripod. The camera cannot move. So what else can move? We can. So a very good way to compensate for the lack of camera movement is to add movement in the frame. It can be the subject, it can be some object, anything, but it can be moving inside the frame. But what if it's just a shot of someone sitting at a bench? What can you do about it? You cannot really add some motion into it. You can still add some fake motion into that shot to make it look more cinematic, a little more dynamic. That can be done in any editing software. You add a slow zoom in, a slow zoom out, slow moving to the left, moving to the right, moving to the top, bottom, wherever you want, basically. Now at number 4, what you can use to make your videos look instantly more cinematic is to use depth of field. Now if you're shooting with a very cheap phone, you might not have this option, but if you have a good enough phone, you can go to the pro mode and change the f-stop value. I'm not getting into the technicalities. I'll get into all the technicalities in the workshop, as I said, so go check the first link in the description. But yeah, so that makes every shot look way more cinematic when you're getting really close to an object. One of the last finishing touches that you can add is to add some black bars, and suddenly your video looks like a film. Okay, so now we have some basic idea of composition, cinematography, lighting, and have like 10-15 actionable steps that you can implement instantly and they'll make your video way more cinematic. But there is something that you also want to remember, that all these rules that I talked about, these are not hard and fast rules, these can be broken. So like whenever you're starting out, following these rules very concretely makes your learning process, makes your creation journey a lot more smoother. But after one point you will have to break these rules. You will love breaking these rules, because think about it, if everyone followed the rules bit by bit, then everyone's creations, everyone's films would be the same. It is how beautifully you can break the rules that makes yourself a unique creator or a unique artist. So it is at the end of the day how beautifully, how artistically you can break the rules that will make your audience come back, and that will make your audience feel something different जो किसी और creator में नहीं मिलता है. Now remember one thing, no matter how good, no matter how cinematic your shots look, it's not gonna matter if you do not have a good story to tell. So the first thing that you should always focus on is how to tell better stories and finding better stories to tell to the world. Because without that, no matter how good your shots are, nobody's gonna watch your videos. And last but not the least, and probably the most important point that you need, is that you need to be in love with the process. If you do not like making videos, if you do not like looking at aesthetic videos that you have created, if you do not like the process of editing, it's not gonna work out. You're gonna get tired and fed up of setting up lights and cameras very, very soon. But if you actually love the craft, that has a unique advantage as well, because then you will be looking at other cinemas, you'll be watching a lot of movies, a lot of TV series, there's a lot of good cinematic YouTube videos, and you will be learning more than you can ever learn from tutorials. And once you fell in love with cinematography and beautiful frames, all you need to do is create more and more, experiment more and more. And remember, making videos is not following a framework, is not a mathematical problem that you solve with a formula. It is about your creative expression as an artist. It is about telling your own stories. It is about making people feel something through your videos. And about the thousands of filmmaking rules that exist, it is nothing but a contest of seeing who can break the rules in the most elegant way.